out the finale tonight. He's got a sore knee. Nick, how should the Pelicans, not the Birds, the team, feel about Zion's future after year one?
Well, I think you feel good about his future, but this was a total waste of a season. And listen, the injury before the year set him back. Leaving the bubble for a family emergency derailed their bubble hopes. And I think the Pelicans were too cautious with Zion throughout, and I think it could hurt them. I'm one of the few people left, evidently, that believes even if you can't win a title, Broussard, you can gain something from making the postseason. You said earlier you think the Mavs can be title contenders in a couple of years. I assume baked into that is some of what Luka will learn in this postseason, what Kristaps will learn in this postseason. And the Pelicans were super cautious with Zion on the front end. To me, they were too cautious with him with this burst restriction on the back end. 5 of his 8 fewest minutes played all season came in the bubble. And so now they're going home early when there's 4 teams still alive for that 8 spot. It's just very, very disappointing, even if I'm still very bullish on Zion moving forward, Broussard.
Well, I hear you, Nick, on them being cautious, overly cautious, but there's a reason, all right? They must know things we don't know, and I got to put a lot of this on Zion. If you're the New Orleans Pelicans, there is no way you feel as good about your future as you did a year ago. A year ago, it all looked great. You got some young players from the Lakers that you like. Zion looks like he's going to be a monster. And now he has not shown that he can play 3 straight months of basketball at a high level. And I'm being generous to say 3 straight months. It had to be incredibly disappointing that after 4 months off, he couldn't make it through a week of practices without getting cramps. And then he only played 5 out of the 8 games. And those 5 games, he was on burst restrictions. Somebody in that organization has got to have the guts to tell Zion, you got to lose weight. You got to get in shape. You're 20 years old. We can't have you on load management. I know it's tough nowadays with these young kids, but somebody's got to tell him that because it feels obvious that he's got to drop some pounds, period.
Okay. Wow. Bucks and Grizzlies facing off at 4 Eastern today. Memphis a half game back at the 8 seed. Broussard, how much criticism does Ja deserve if they miss the playoffs?
Not much. Look, he's a rookie, obviously. They lost their second leading scorer in Jaren Jackson. Remember, he got injured and missed half the games in the bubble. And Ja's been great. 20 points, 10 assists a game in the bubble. I get it, 1-7. They did lose to New Orleans. You've got to figure they should be able to beat a Milwaukee team that has nothing to play for and doesn't have Giannis. But even if they don't make it, just being in the hunt was a huge huge accomplishment for this Memphis team. I get it, but he's a young rookie. I'm not going to kill him.
2 things. One is America, while you still can. I think on Fox Bet, I think the Grizzlies are getting a 1.5 to this afternoon. This is an empty your account lock of the century. Taylor Jenkins worked for Mike Budenholzer for 6 years. There is no chance Bud wants to win this game. The Grizzlies will win today. But even if they win today, I understand this is bubble experience has been a disappointment for them. Ja deserves no criticism. Who's the rookie that's leading a team to the postseason? There is none. Tyler Hero's in a rotation. Michael Porter Jr.'s played well, but he's like a rookie with an asterisk because he was the draft class before and sat out a year. The only reason Memphis is in this position is because of the brilliance of Ja. Their other best player, Jaren Jackson Jr., did get hurt. He's in year 2. Brandon Clark, who's been good for them, is another rookie. The whole Iguodala saga could have derailed a lot of teams. It didn't. So Ja, to me, deserves no criticism whatsoever. It's only his brilliance that put them in the discussion for the postseason all year long. And they got unlucky early in the bubble. The overtime loss to Portland, a terrible foul at the end of the game against the Spurs, close game against New Orleans, then Jaren Jackson gets hurt. Just everything went wrong for him. I don't put it on Ja.
What was that, unlucky in the Portland game? Hey, we finished on a playoff plan.
Yeah,
Lakers remain the final team without a playoff opponent. Nick thinks this is a huge disadvantage. Earlier in the show, he said it's a massive disadvantage. He said it's a huge disadvantage. He said it's totally unfair. It's not really. I'm exaggerating that. He's going to get upset.
It's called
He's going to get
fear.
upset. Let's look at the playoff scenarios. All sorts of things happening. Here's what you need to look at. Blazers need to win, or Memphis, Phoenix, San Antonio. Two of those guys need to lose. Let's talk about the Lakers here. Nick, who should the Lakers be rooting for? And don't say, oh, they can play anybody like Kyle Kuzma. We're ready for anybody. They got to be rooting for somebody.
As someone who has picked the Lakers to win the title, not get out of the first round, not have a good showing, if the goal is to win the title, Broussard, they should want Portland. Because Portland is the only team that will demand their full attention. Portland is the team that is the best preparation for a Rockets team in round 2, or if the Rockets don't get there, even an OKC team in round 2 that goes with a 3-guard lineup. Portland is a team that will not allow them to ease into the postseason, and I think that's what they need. Because while I'm not freaking out the way most of America is over the Lakers' lackadaisical bubble performance, I will admit, due to my commitment to take integrity, that they haven't looked particularly sharp ever since the first couple games of the bubble. And so if they end up getting Memphis with no Jaren Jackson Jr. who somehow falls into the postseason, they can sleepwalk through round 1, and then I don't think that's good for them to win the title. So if the goal is to win the title, Broussard, I think they should want Portland, because I think it will prepare them the rest of the way, and it will force their full attention in round 1.
I hear you, Nick, and I do think Portland would be the greatest preparation for their second and third round matchups, because, yeah, it'd be the toughest matchup in the first round. That said, no, pull for Memphis. They want to see Memphis. LeBron James, LeBron doesn't need anybody to prepare him for the second round. He understands what this is all about. Anthony Davis should as well. This team needs confidence. Kyle Kuzma is brimming with confidence. But Quinn Cook, Dion Waiters probably brimming with too much confidence.
Waiters got plenty of confidence.
JaVale McGee. These guys need to play a Memphis team that they can wax, or even Phoenix, that they can run through, start playing well together, get their confidence back. Some of the guys maybe get their legs back, shoot the 3 well for more than one game. So, I think they need to be pulling for Memphis so they can ease their way into the playoffs. I understand your take. It's not bad. But no, because I gave, my commitment to take integrity. I gave Portland an 8 to 10% chance. 8 to 10% chance to beat the Lakers in the first round. I know that's not much, but it's 8 to 10% more than Memphis or Phoenix has.
Wilds. The team that nobody has mentioned, by the way, the team that nobody has mentioned that I think the Lakers least want to play, oddly enough, is the Spurs. And it's not because the Spurs can beat them, but it's because, A, the Spurs don't prepare you for anything, because they play a different brand of basketball than every other team in the NBA, thanks to their just dedication to the mid-range. And if LeBron has not been sharp offensively, going up against Pop, who has coached against him in 3 NBA finals and knows LeBron's tendencies, I don't think is the best way for LeBron to get back on track. So I know nobody's anticipating the Spurs, especially they don't even have Aldridge, of getting there. But if I were ranking who I would want to face if I'm the Lakers, Portland 1 because of what you would get from it. Phoenix 2, because I also think Phoenix would demand some attention because of what Booker's doing. Memphis 3, because there's nothing from it. And the Spurs 4, because LeBron dealing with Pop in that mid-range game. So that's the hierarchy. Portland, Phoenix, Memphis, the Spurs. That's who the Lakers should be rooting for. Wilds.
Fear.
Okay. Fear. I hope they play this in the Blazers locker room.
Fear of
you don't want the Spurs. You're afraid of the Spurs.
I'm respecting you, Dane.
Don't want the